Hey guys, welcome to the Magfed Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing a how to disassemble and reassemble your Valken M17 18 round FSR magazines. But before I get into it guys, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share, and comment. Alright, let's get into it. Okay guys, so before you begin, just make sure you got a clean work surface here, pad, something, make sure that you don't lose any of the screws or the little things, bolts, whatever that comes off of your magazines. I have a 3mm Allen T-handle Allen key here, but you guys can use pretty much any 3mm Allen key. I also have a microfiber towel here as well. So in essence, get all your tools, guys, ready to disassemble and obviously clean your magazine. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to loosen the two Allen keys that we have right here. And they're obviously secured with nuts on the back side of the magazine here, guys, okay? So basically lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Most of the time that is the case, guys, but that is true in this particular case. So lefty-loosey. You don't want to obviously accidentally go the wrong direction and over-tighten and possibly damage the hardware. Okay guys, so there's the two nuts. Like I said, I like using these mats because you can set your hardware off to the side. Don't lose them, right? Okay, at this point guys, literally the magazine's gonna separate in half. You do want to be careful when you're separating them because the spring mechanism inside it will, just kind of go like that, right? It's gonna kind of just pop out, so you just want to make sure that you're not just letting it go everywhere. The next step, of course, guys, is you're going to want to obviously just, slide the collar off of its grooves and, of course, remove it from the magazine. Now, at this point, guys, obviously we still have some little more disassembly to do with this square head collar here, but at this point, this is pretty much what all you have to do for the two halves of the body of the magazine, okay, guys? So at this point, you can obviously wipe down any dirt or debris with your microfiber towel. I like microfiber towels, guys, just because cheap, clean. They pick up a lot of debris from their fibers. Another good trick too, guys, is obviously using an air compressor with like a blowgun. I own an automotive shop, guys, and so I would take some of my paintball stuff to the shop, just use the air compressor with the blowgun. You can blow it all out. Obviously, be careful not to blow so hard where things are going to go flying and you might go missing pieces. But the cool thing about the blowgun is you can get into like little nooks and crannies, get all the paint, dirt, whatever out of it. Okay. So at this point, these two halves are good, guys. You can set those out to the side. Let's disassemble the square collar real quick. So the square collar has a little retaining sleeve here that just slides out. It's a little sticky right now, but there it goes. Okay guys, so it's literally just this pretty much FS shape little retaining collar that just slides over the two halves of the square head collar to secure it in place. Okay, and then at this point the two halves of the square head collar is going to separate. Of course, be careful to not lose the little T-bar detent, guys, with the spring in the little two halves. It has this kind of bronze-colored sleeve that will come off the T-handle. If you guys aren't careful, you'll drop it, lose it. So, like I said, once again, good to work on a mat that has kind of a rough surface, sticky surface, so these things aren't going to go everywhere, guys. But at this point, of course, you can clean the spring and that T-handle if you guys like. Set that off to the side. And then, of course, at this point, you guys can clean the collar as well. Okay? All right, so now you have all the pieces clean. Now we're going to do the reassembling. You're going to want to take that T-bar handle detent with the spring, and it's going to sit literally inside that spring. There's literally a small groove cut out for that spring, guys, and it's gonna sit right in there like so. Okay, and then of course the other half you'll see the little slot for the cutout for the T-handle. And the two halves are just gonna literally come together. There's also little pins on the two halves if you guys didn't notice. I'll take this apart again for you guys to see. But you'll see that there's a little detents and then little holes that line up with them, okay? So the two halves are going to come together, guys, only one way. So it's, you know, if you don't try to force it. These things can be breakable too, those little pins, plastic pins, so just, you know, be gentle, be careful with it, clean it nicely, and then just obviously slide it together. At this point, you can slide the retaining sleeve on. I usually like to do it with these holes inwards. That's how they came from the factory, so that's the way I put them back on. You can fit them both ways, but I just like to put it back the way I found it. Okay, so now your square head collar is in. Now it's the time to obviously assemble both halves together with the square head collar. I usually like to put the square head collar onto the half that has the spring mechanism, and it literally just sits into this little groove at the top of the magazine, guys. So we'll set that in there. Now with the spring, this can be a little tricky, guys, but you know, at the most part, the follower for the magazine, you'll notice that it's the first strike shape round. Literally just gonna slide into that square head collar. Use this, you know, match up the shape, guys, right? It's the first strike shape, so it's only gonna fit in one way for the most part. And then what I like to do is kind of just hold the spring into the grooves here like this for the most part. Now, you can try to wind the spring down, guys, with the winding mechanism. That will kind of give you a little bit help sometimes, because the spring will get shorter, but I found that as long as, for the most part, it's there, it's gonna fit. So, bam. So once you have most of the spring into, you know, pretty much the channel on that one half, you put the other half on, the other magazine half on, and it's just gonna obviously just come together, okay, guys? Okay, so at this point, we're gonna want to put all the hardware, the nuts and the Allen bolts back in. So the nuts, you'll see, will sit inside the hex cutout shapes here. Oops. Quick. Alright, there we go. And then what I like to do, guys, because obviously if we flip this upside down, the nuts are going to come out. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of get one started real quick on both sides. Don't tighten it down yet, just get it started so that way the magazines are together and secure and the nuts aren't going to fall out. And now at this point, now that the nuts are started, you can use the T-handle Allen key to tighten it down the rest of the way. Now, guys, don't over torque these once again. You know, it's just enough. Once it stops, bam. You know, that's good enough. A lot of these T-handle or, you know, Allen keys, guys, I like using the long section because this kind of prevents you from putting too much torque onto your fasteners. Whereas if you do it this way and you use the long portion of the Allen key to torque it down, that's going to apply way too much torque, guys. Okay, so that's it. Do a function test real quick. Just wind the spring down. Make sure that it winds all the way down. If you guys like, this would be also the time to try to load up 18 FSRs just to make sure that it did load 18 FSRs. You would also make sure that the detent is sliding in and out of its groove there well. And then, of course, lastly, you'd press the, you know, the spring release, so that way you can see if the follower is going to release and come all the way up. That ensures that you know all of your first strike rounds are going to come out of the magazine. Okay, guys, that was it. That was the how-to of disassembling and reassembling your M17 Valken 18 round FSR magazine. If you guys like that video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Check you guys next time. Peace.